Hi everyone. Hope you all are good. We are here for grade 1 math. You can find all the lessons on aplusstudents.com. You have to log in there using your email address and password as provided by the administrator. Then you have to select math from the subject tab. Scroll down to grade 1 math and then click on view all lessons. There you can find the list of the chapters. We're going to start with the chapter measurement. The lessons we're going to cover today are read a thermometer, compare objects' length and height, measure using objects, measure using an inch ruler. So please make sure you have your notebook and pencil so that you can note down the important examples and definitions as well. Here I am on grade 1 math. Chapter we are on right now is measurement. Let's just start with lesson that is read a thermometer. What is the temperature? So we need to read the temperature. Basically, temperature, why we use thermometer? Thermometer is used to measure the temperature. That can be the temperature of your body, the temperature of the room, temperature of the liquids and solids. Got it? So the basic use of the thermometer is to measure the temperature, right? So how do we measure the temperature on the thermometer? So find the place where the thermometer changes from red to white. You need to make that line. Here we have 0. So look at the number right up here, this line. Here we have 0 degree centigrade. Option number 1 is that is 0 degree centigrade. Let's just start with the test questions. What is the temperature? So we can read the temperature where the color is changing from red to white. Hold on. Celsius. Option number 2 is the correct option. What is the temperature? So we have to read the temperature where the color is changing from red to white. So that is 0 degree Celsius. The correct option is 0 degrees Celsius it is, right? Basically, that is not Celsius, that is F. F is Fahrenheit. Fahrenheit. We have two temperatures to measure the temperature, Celsius and Fahrenheit. That is 0 degree Fahrenheit. What is the temperature? That is 70 degree. Option number 3 is the correct option. That is 70. What is the temperature? You have to read the temperature where the color is changing from red to white. So just match this line with a number. So this goes with 10. So that is 10 degrees Celsius. The correct option is option number 1, that is 10 degrees Celsius. What is the temperature? Which is the correct option? That is 30 degree Fahrenheit. Option number 2 is the correct option. Option number 2 is the correct option. What is the temperature? That is 0 degree Fahrenheit. Option number 4 is the correct option. That is 0. What is the temperature? That is 40 degrees Celsius. Option number 4 is the correct option. What is the temperature which is that is 60 degree Fahrenheit? Option number one is the correct option. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Let me just move on to next lesson. The next lesson is compare objects' length and height. Which ship is the longest? We need to compare the length of the ship. So this is the ship that is the longest in the length. You need to compare the length. And sorry, longest one, then longer, and then shortest. Let's start with the test questions. Which comb is the shortest? Option number one is the correct option. That would be the shortest comb. Which table is the longest? So just look at the options, right? The first one is longest one. So option number one is the correct option. Which piece of wood is the longest? So which is the correct option? Very good. Option number one is the correct option. That would be the longest one. So option one is the correct option. Which cactus is the shortest? Option number two is the correct option. That would be the which cactus is the shortest? Oh, we need to find the shortest one, not the longest one. Sorry. Which sword is the longest? Which is the correct option? Very good. Option number one is the correct option. We need to find the longest one. Which sandwich is the shortest? We need to find the shortest sandwich. So just look at the options, which is the correct option. Option number one is the correct option. We need to find the shortest one. Which pen is the shortest? One or two? Option number one is the correct option. That is the shortest one. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Let me just move on to next lesson. The next lesson is measure using objects. So we are going to measure the length using the different objects, right? Use dice to measure the line. Just place the line with this Just place the dice with this line. That is just one dice long, right? You have to place the left end of one die at the left end of the line. The die is about the same length as the line. So that is just one die long, one dice long, right? Let's just start with the test questions. Now use paper clips to measure the line. Just place the paper clip on the with the left end of the line, and let's see which is the left end of the we have to see the length of the line. That is 3 paper clip long. Option number 2 is the correct option. That is 3 paper clip. Oh, that's just 2 paper clip long. That is 2 paper clip long. Option number 1 is the correct option. Use the dice to measure the line. The line is just one dice long. The correct option is 1. Option number 2 is the correct option. Option number 2 is the correct option. Use dice to measure the line. That is 5 dice long. Option number 1 is the correct option. 5 dice long it is. Use dice to measure the line. That is 6 dice long. Option number 2 is the correct option. Use the dice to measure the line. That is just one dice long. Option number 1 is the correct option. Use paper clips to measure the line. That is 5 ties long. Option number 3 is the correct option. Use paper clips to measure the line. So that is just 3 paper clips long. Use dies to measure the line. So which is the correct option? Okay, 5 ties long it is. Option number 4 is the correct option. Use dies to measure the line. 6 ties long it is, not 5. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Let me just move on to next lesson. That is measure using an inch ruler. So now we're going to use the inch ruler and measure the length of the lines. The ruler to measure the length of the line to the nearest inch. Line at the left end of the line with a 0 mark on the ruler. And then the right end of the line is at the 1 inch mark. So the line is about 1 inch long. Let's just start with the let's just start with the test questions. Move the ruler to measure the length of the nearest inch. So move the ruler to the left end of the line and then measure on the right side. So that would be 3 inches long. Option number 2 is 3 inch long. It is. You move the ruler to measure the length of the line to the nearest inch. So which is the correct option? So move the ruler to the left end of the line. That would be 3 inches long. Option number 1 is the correct option. Move the ruler to measure the length of the line to the nearest inch. That is just 1 inch long. Option number 3 is the correct option. Move the ruler to measure the length of the line to the nearest inch. That is 2 inch long. Option number 4 is the correct option. Move the ruler to measure the length of the line to the nearest inch. So which is the correct option? That is 3 inches long. Option number 1 is the correct option. Move the ruler to measure the length of the line. That would be 1 inch long. Option number 2 is the correct option. the ruler to measure the length of the line to the nearest inch. So, which is the correct option? That is 2 inches long. Option number 3 is the correct option. Move the ruler to measure the length of the line. That would be 1 inch long. Option number 3 is the correct option. Okay, we are done with the lesson. So we were working on grade 1 math. The chapter we were working on is measurement. The lessons we have covered today are read a thermometer, complete objects, compare objects length and height, measure using objects, measure using an inch ruler. So please make sure before the next session you can complete all the practice questions for the lessons we just did. That is your homework until next session. So if you need more help with any of the lessons, you can simply click on the live chat button. Tutors are available there to help you, or either you can write them down in the chat box. I'm here to answer all your questions and confusions if you have any. So, any questions you can please ask if you have any. No questions. Okay, then that's